New York Rangers tonight. Our opportunity right now to talk to newcomer Dave Hunter of the Penguins. And David, I know players during the course of their careers, when they're traded or other players look at trades in the paper, they evaluate them. I'd like if you could just take a second, Dave, and tell me what your impressions were, how your evaluation went of the trade that was made for you.
I think at first, when you first get traded, you never think it's going to happen to you. And I've been there over 9 years there, and I like the city, and we had some great winning years there and winning Stanley Cups. But I think the best thing about coming here, you got to be positive about it, and it's all part of hockey, and you got to come here with a positive attitude and come here to play hockey.
David, you're coming to a club that had a similar circumstance that Edmonton had in the early years in the National Hockey League, a growing team, a young team. Do you see similarities between the two clubs and, what the differences might be?
I think, it's a big thing. You get a lot of young guys and you come here. I remember when first we started, you're going to come to games and everybody's going to work hard. I think that's the big thing. If, you're going to have a team, you're going to keep working and you got to work for the whole 60 minutes. You're going to get your mistakes, but that's all part of hockey. But I think, you got to work hard, and every game, it's going to be tough, but you got to be just ready for it.
Dave, was there a point in the Edmonton scenario where the Oilers really came of age, or they went over the hump in your mind, or other players that you'd played with?
I think a lot of times, I think you got to think you're going to win. And that's the big hump you got to get over. And don't matter how far you get behind, I see a lot of similarities there where we came from, since I came here too, a lot of games where they come from behind and won hockey games. And, that's a big thing, it's all mentally, a lot of it. You got to come here with attitude, a winning attitude, where everybody's got to work together and as a team, and that's the only way you're going to win hockey games.
Dave, was there a player in your career that brought you along? I know Pierre Kramer's thinking about using you as a kind of a buffer between the young players and himself and that to try and help them. Was there a player that helped you when you first started that kind of guided you in the league?
I remember when we first started, I played in the World Hockey, and I played with a lot of guys that played, and a few guys played on Stanley Cup teams. I think a big plus was a guy named Bill Flett. He played us a few years back now.
Cowboy.
Yeah, Cowboy, and he really helped me a lot, and he was a big plus for me. You get guys like Glenn Sather's been through a lot of hockey years too. So, them guys, when you first come in, they really help you along, and it was a big plus to play with some guys that had experience, and they really do help you. And I think the big thing you do is just got to listen, and and you listen to the things. Some things you may not take, and some things you got to take. And I think it's a good thing when you have guys and older guys blending with the younger guys, because it helps out each guy. And I think you still got to go back as a team and work as a team, and I think that's a big plus they told me too.
Dave Hunter is our special guest. Dave, more or less basically with the Penguins and with the Oilers, you're somewhat of a role player. Did it take you a long time to accept that situation, or have you accepted it and want to really go with it?
I think I really accept it. I think on a team, I think everybody has to have their own role, and and you got to have a combination of guys that grind, check, and and play tough in the corners and score goals. And if you have that all combination working together, you're gonna win a few hockey games.
Got to talk to you about your brothers. They play in the National Hockey League. Mark, of course, for St. Louis, and Dale with the Washington Capitals. You seem like a very, very close family.
Yeah, it's funny when you live on a farm, and my mom and dad get a lot of credit for that. You do have your fights, and you have when you're growing up, but it's all part of it. And I think a lot of times, you get Dale. He's a big plus for Washington now, and since he played a few years in Quebec, and Mark in St. Louis, and it's great to see them playing in the National Hockey League.
What about the club right now, as you see, with Dave McElwain? You've been playing a lot of ice time with him. He seems to have improved his game. You guys have been working pretty well together.
I think Dave, he's the type, he's got a great finesse. I think he's going to be a great hockey player, and he's got the speed too, and he's the type of player that listens and works hard in practice and also in the games. And I think he's going to, in a few years, he's going to come around really good. And I think right now he's going to score a few goals for Pittsburgh here. And I know he's the type of kid that he wants to win, he wants to work hard, and wants to do things, and that's you got to have a little bit of imagination, and I think he really does on the ice, and I think he's a big plus for Pittsburgh.
Well, I know, Echo, for the fans of Pittsburgh, we welcome you to the city, and all the best to you, Dave.
Thank you very much, man.
All right, Dave Hunter's been our special guest. We'll have more from